Om Sri Sai Ram. Sai Mera मैं तेरा ये है प्रेम की बहती धारा साई प्रेम की बहती धारा साई प्रेम की बहती धारा एक दूजे से प्रेम करो मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा मेरा बाबा प्रसन्न होगा। ओम श्री साई राम। God loves those who love each other. God helps those who help each other. God even serves those who serve each other. Togetherness is godliness. Joy is in giving, not in holding. Holding is harmful. Releasing is relaxing. Today, our minds have become constipated. Our hearts have become constipated. Our brain's intelligence have become constipated. There is self interest in everything, every relation, every human affair. Swami said that is the root cause of all the misery in the world today. Then the human mind is so smart, it always justifies its mistakes, even its Himalayan blunders, even its criminal thinking and actions. That is the trick, smartness of human mind. We justify it, go to any jail, talk to any criminal, even the terrorist, they will justify their action. They will even quote scriptures. Human mind always justifies the unjustifiable, defends the indefensible. Because it has become embodiment of selfishness and self-interest. And then many people are asking, sir, how to love? What a strange question, how to love? It is as good as fish asking, sir, how to swim? Loving is our nature. We all are embodiment of love. We are made of love, by love, for love. There is no other purpose in this entire existence. Everything else is delusion, make believe. Everything. I separated myself from myself to love myself. The Supreme Lord separated himself from himself to love himself. And we are asking how to love. We should be asking how not to love. Love is our natural instinct. Releasing is our natural instinct. But today we do everything opposite. because our system, so called modern system, has programmed our lives, our minds in such narrow fashion. We say at least we love our families. We are doing everything, whatever wrongs we are doing, accumulating, collecting, calculating, earning for our family. All bluff. Nobody does anything for families. It is only selfishness. If we say, let us hypothetically, for sake of argument, take it, believe that we are doing for our family. Even dogs have love for their family. Even the cats will bring, even the sparrow will collect food for their families. Even the cow gives milk for the calf. What is so great about human birth? Swami told even dogs can, you are celebrating if the child, son is born in a family. They invite the whole village to celebrate. Oh, I have become a father of a son. What great achievement. Swami said even dogs produce 10 sons in one go. What is so great about it? We always overestimate our little achievements, little knowledge, little wisdom, little powers, little authorities. We overestimate because we are, all of us are suffering from that frog in the well syndrome. Even producing a son, we feel that we have done a great achievement. What a foolishness. Swami said, khana, pina, sona, bachche paida karna, all these are done by animals. And they do it better. They are better parents. They give freedom to their children. As soon as the sparrow's child has the wings to fly, the mother sparrow will allow it to fly. The dogs will allow their puppies to go on the street and fend for themselves and grow. The lions will allow their cubs to walk and roar in the jungle like lions. Our love actually means loving others, even so called loving our family members, actually means dominating over our family persons, our people, our group, our community. We don't want to serve them, we want to dominate over them, we want to possess them. Service is in giving. Giving in forgiving. That is why they say when God created a bird and it gave it wings, he was so happy with its creation. He immediately gave power to the wings to make it fly in the sky. That is love of God. But when man loves any bird, he will cut. First, he will catch it, trap it, cut the wings, and put it in the cage. That is our love. Then feed it with every kind of things. Not because the parrot needs it, but because we need to have that psychological, emotional satisfaction that we are doing. We have a parrot, we have a cat, we have a dog. It is our ego and psychological satisfaction. They don't need us. They are happy in their jungles, in their freedom to walk and roar and to fly. We want to have control, dominance over others, and we call that dominance as our sevaks, our love. No ways. Love is the Atmic principle. It is quality of soul. And soul means freedom. freedom to dream, to think, to speak, to express love, 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 to be able to love and to be loved. That is the game of this creation. And we create all the social norms and all taboos around our own selves, around our own near and dear ones, to stop everybody from loving each other. We have freedom to hate, but no freedom to love. For love to be selfless, it has to be universal and limitless. Love is a principle of Atma, of soul. Soul has no boundaries. What we call love today is anything else but love. Love is not holding and accumulating. Love is not dominating anyone. Love is not dominating or controlling the situation or any person. That is being possessive. Lovers cannot be possessive. Lovers are not beggars. Lover never impose their ideas upon their beloved, upon anyone. Love is freedom to love God. We have not tasted love. We have actually forgotten. The humanity has forgotten to love. That is why this question, sir, how to love? Man's extremity is God's opportunity. That is why the Lord of love himself has come in flesh and blood, and he is walking, still he is walking and living on this earth. He is not gone, he is not going to go unless he has finished his job. Swami told me when the farmer's first stage of action is to clear the field of weeds and thorns and pebbles and stones. That is his first job. Next, he has to make the soil ready by plowing the soil for digging it and adding manure to it, all the way to make it healthy soil. Then seeding it, then watering it, nurturing it, and once the sprout into bush, into a small plants, then the farmer comes to take his harvest. He has done the job of seeding all over the world in every human heart and mind. And he is working on it. In this very form, he is working on it with supersonic speed. Silently, but effectively. We have forgotten to love. That is why he is offering us his love. He has come in this beautiful, enchanting form so that we get attracted to him and fall in love with him, rise in love with him. He uplifts our minds with one look, one touch, one word, one smile. You ask millions. Greatest scientist, psychiatrist, one smile from Swami, one word from Swami, and they are flat. He knows how to attract because he is pure love. First, attraction. And once you get attracted to him, then the transformation. Like Mother Yashoda used to attract Krishna with butter, and once he comes near, then she will transform him what she wants him to do, but with love. He has not come to kill or destroy or disturb any faith, any person, any community, any religion. He says, I have come to even make you strong and true to your own faith, confident of your own faith, so that you can live your faith. Today we have forgotten to live our faith. We propagate our faith. We kill others for our faith, to promote our faith. What stupidity! But we don't live our faith. And what we do not live becomes dead. And dead cannot deliver. So he has to come to bring us on the right path, in the right set of mind, because our minds are now programmed and totally upside down. We care for those who would never cry for us. We'll cry for those who would never care for us. It is all selfishness, all foolishness going on in so-called present modern world. The avatar has to come to uplift us, because man's extremity is God's opportunity. We have crossed all the limits of selfishness and foolishness. Both. Ravana was selfish and foolish, Murkhudu, in spite of all the so-called knowledge of all the Vedas, of all the branches of medicine, engineering, music, art. He was master. Yet Valmiki and Swami himself calls him Murkhudu, because his mind was not enlightened with love, with selfless love, with divine love. Selfishness inevitably leads to foolishness, and foolishness naturally leads us to selfishness. Both are two sides of the same coin. Stop judging, start loving. Stop accumulating, start giving. Joy is in giving. Release your mind, release your hearts, release your hold on things which are as such you are not going to hold them. It is like I told one story in one of my talks. If a king who went for killing, in those days it was a pastime for kings, he lost way. He was chasing one deer. He lost way with his ministers and his soldiers. So his horse stumbled upon a big boulder of rock, and he just fell down in a dry well, century old well, infected by snakes and all poisonous things. And as he was falling down, fortunately for him, he caught hold of one root hanging around from that wall of the well, and he was swinging. And when his soldiers found the horse and they searched for him and found him hanging, they immediately wrapped up all their turbans and everything possible to make a long rope and offer him to come up. Now, any wise king would leave the root and just hold on to the rope to go up. He also did the same. He left one hand, he was holding the root with both the hands. When he was about to leave the second hand, the roots of the tree, as if, spoke to him. So, King, we gave you support, we gave you this second lifeline, and now you are leaving us just because you got opportunity to go up. The king was wise. He said, even if I hold on to you, how long can I hold on to you? Even if with all my strength I keep holding on to you, how long can you keep me holding on to you? Because you are not also strong enough to take my weight for long. Either you will give up or I will give up. Fall I must. I can postpone it for few hours maximum. Either you will break down or I will break down. Holding permanently is not possible. Only one thing Swami said is certain, that is death. What is born must die. That is law, inevitable law of the nature. How long can we hold on to our possessions, to our accumulations? Either they will slip away from us or we will slip away from them. Better to be wise when the opportunity is coming to rise up. Don't miss that opportunity. Hold on to Him. He has come to lift us. And this God is not, I repeat again, He has not come to kill anyone or not in kill our minds. Because it is His creation. Entire creation He is the divine director, Sutradhari. He is not enemy of our minds or our existence. He has not even come to so-called in our terms correct us, or He has just come to unmake and remake us, our minds, our thought process. Because now we are programmed in totally opposite harmful direction by the selfishness of our market strategies, self-interest of our leaders who have now become dealers. Swami says the leaders have become dealers. So the man has to be uplifted. And without bringing awareness of our own reality, and awareness comes only through light of love. Without awareness, man is worse than animal, directionless. Our human mind will create havoc, and it has already created havoc, because it is like giving power to a mad monkey. Swami says, mad monkey, a drunken monkey. Our minds have become mad, drunken monkeys, which is bitten by a scorpion. Scorpion of selfishness and self-interest, arrogance and ignorance. Only self-centeredness. We cannot look beyond ourselves. Our visions have become so limited. Even dogs can look better than us. The God mind has come to level of a dog mind, and even less. He has come to enlighten our minds, enlighten our intelligence. Who doesn't want to be enlightened? Who doesn't want light in his house? Who wants to live in darkness? Are we afraid of light? like that person who was put in dark cell for so long that when the government changed and they announced that all the prisoners are to be released, this person, when he came out, he saw light for the first time in his life. He was a small child when he was put behind the bars. Now, after many years, when he is brought out, he cannot look at the light. He wants to go back to the darkness. Our situation has come like that. We are afraid of loving. We are fearful of loving. So the Lord has to come to love us. He has come to give us that shower of bath of love, His love, pure love. He has come to cleanse us, to cajole us, to cuddle us like a mother, and make us aware of our own reality. Like a lion, when they found their own cub is being brought up by goats, he is just becoming nervous with one roar of lions. They catch hold of the lion cub and bring him to the pond to show him his image, that you are lion, you don't have to fear. Your one roar can make all the animals shiver in fear. This Lord has come to tell us our truth. You are embodiment of love, Prema Atma Saruplara. You are embodiment of eternal Atma. Why fear when I am here? Remove all the fear. Bring all your fears, your phobias, your worries, your so-called sins, your tensions, your stresses. Bring them to me and take from me my love, my courage, my confidence, my power. He has come to share His power. His power is His love. Take it. Use it. Spread it. Radiate it. The more you give, the more you shall receive. Who can give this exchange offer? Unconditionally, limitlessly. Grab this opportunity. Love is our nature. We should not be fools living in hell. I mentioned in one of my talks, the difference between hell and heaven is both the places God keeps the same size of table, same quantity of food in the same vessels, same type of vessels, same arrangement. People in the hell, people in the heaven are sitting across the table to take their food. And there is a same arrangement that the elbow of each person has a clamp. You cannot bend it. In the hell, everybody lifts the food up and drops the food from the top to lick it, whatever comes to their mouth. They get frustration. They quarrel, they scream, they fight. But they are not able to enjoy the delicious food. Same food, same arrangement in heavens. Everybody's hands are clamped. But what they do? This person takes the food and feeds the opposite person. The opposite person takes his food and feeds this person. Both feed each other and all are happy. एक दूजे से प्रेम करो, मेरा साई प्रसन्न होगा. God loves those who love each other. God helps those who help each other. God even comes down to serve those who serve each other. Let us come out of this narrow-mindedness, this selfishness, this family interest. All this is all stupid ideas. There is only one family, the universal God's family. He is our brotherhood of man and fatherhood of God. Who does not belong to us? Tagore has written, if there is a motion in the sky, in the star, there is a corresponding motion in the flower on the earth. Even the stars and flowers are interconnected with the common cosmic consciousness. We all are interconnected with common cosmic consciousness. This is scientifically proved. None of us can be happy in isolation. None of us can grow in isolation. We can accumulate and make ourselves sick. Accumulation is making ourselves constipated. We can only make ourselves sick in isolation. We cannot make ourselves happy and healthy in isolation. No ways. Come out of this narrow mindedness of frog in the well. Be broad minded. Universal mind alone can solve universal problems. Selfish minds cannot even comprehend their own personal problems. We all know it. We have experienced this foolishness, but we don't want to come out of it. Come out of it now. जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय.